City was just telling me something about prominent figures, whether historically or in the recent past. We're just talking about, kuna jina moja nimekuja kujua sisi atalikuanga Mjaluo, Agwings Kodek. Is it Kodek or Kodek?
Kodek.
Hebu iseme tena. Kodek. All right.
Kodek.
Bro bwana.
Luo is a tonal language.
But I've just
said, sawa baba, sawa.
Yes, allow me. Just
ulimi hairuhusu sawa vile umesema.
So Agwings Kodek alikuanga nani? City bwana, tell me who was Agwings?
He was a Kenyan politician.
Okay.
Came from Siaya County. Yes.
Okay.
Held a very, very prominent position. If you talk about constitutional positions,
yes,
he was among those first people to actually hold such a position in this country. The road that is named after him because he died on that road. He had an accident and died.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, now I know. I use that road every day. To be honest, and people don't kill me here in the studio, mimi Agwings Kodek nilikuwa nadhani ni muindi fulani. I swear mimi ungeniuliza yeye ningekuwa bunduki hapa kwa kichwa niambiwe sema huyu ni nani, I would have told you this is someone from New Delhi. But anyway, in studio we do have advocate and political analyst, that is Kepher Ojijo. Kepher, welcome to Radio Generation.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here, and we're going to talk about a couple of things, including what is happening currently in the political arena. Specifically, Governor Wanga is going to be in that conversation, and of course, President Ruto. Yes. But to start with, maybe we can just I can start by asking you. You're an advocate. What kind of law do you practice? Because I know there are very many. Like there's criminal law, there's financial law. What kind of law do you practice?
Thank you for having me. Even before I introduce what I do, now that I'm an advocate and you're talking about Agwings Kodek.
Yes.
Agwings Kodek was the first lawyer, the Kenyan lawyer, to be admitted to the role of advocate.
Okay.
Yes, so that means he's our senior, the first Kenyan lawyer.
He's the first senior counsel.
Senior counsel to be admitted to the role of advocates in Kenya.
When you say to the role of advocates, there's a difference between lawyer and advocate.
There's a difference between a lawyer and an advocate.
Kindly enlighten me.
Yes, a lawyer has just studied law. He's gone to school and he studied law, and it ends there.
Okay.
An advocate has now proceeded to be admitted to the role. Okay. He has now taken the oath. He's gone to the Kenya School of Law and taken that oath now as an advocate. And now he's vested in him some powers now to represent clients, both in courts and tribunals.
So when I say that I have a lawyer, I'm actually wrong, because I should be saying I have an advocate.
Yes.
Because my advocates, now that I know the advocates, actually represent me in a court of law.
Yes, so advocates are lawyers, but lawyers are not advocates.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense. It actually makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
So I didn't know that.
After being a lawyer, there's a step ahead for you to become an advocate.
I actually thought an advocate is probably a name that is used maybe in Britain.
No. In Britain, they use differently. Now they use barristers. So we have barristers and solicitors. So they say where we have lawyers and advocates here. So in Britain, they have barristers who are equivalent to advocates and solicitors who are equivalent to lawyers here. Yes.
Every day I learn something new.
Asante.
Thank you for that. So what kind of law do you practice?
Yes, I am a constitutional lawyer.
Yes.
I am also a civil and labor law practitioner. So that is where I thrive and enjoy. I also do a little bit of some criminal. When I have my clients arrested, I have to go and see how they survive.
Right.
Yeah, so but my specialty is majorly on the constitutional labor laws.
Yes.
And civil litigation.
Nice.
Yes.
Good to know that. Sasa tukiwa na shida nikishikwa ile siku ndakamatwa, wewe jua tu simu yangu nikipiga, ukiona tu nimekupigia bro, shike hiyo simu. Karibu. All right. So let's talk about the broad-based government. Baba rested a couple of days ago. Country still in mourning, but there has been a conversation even after that about succession politics. Succession, first of all, in the Luo Nation, succession in ODM, then succession as far as the broad-based government is concerned, and succession as far as 2027 is concerned. And a couple of names are popping up. For example, Homa Bay County Governor, Honorable Gladis Wanga, has been mentioned several times as one of the individuals who might be in a position to actually be the person who will succeed Baba. So I do not know what your thoughts are as far as the Baba succession is concerned. Let me just ask you actually, what do you think? We know at least, at the very least, Raila Jr. succeeded him as the head of the family, but going forward, what else?
You remember there's no vacuum in ODM. But unfortunately, we miss Baba and we're still grieving. I don't know how we'll get over that. It will take some time because we don't think we'll have someone like Raila in the near future. But again, Raila is a planner. Raila is a very smart politician. He knew anything can happen, and he ensured that he has left an intact ODM with structures and order. And we have hierarchy of leaders that he placed in place for us at the ODM level. We have the national chair, we have the deputy chairs, we have the secretary general. So the structure is still there as it left it. And that therefore tells you, you see, today if the president was to be no more, the constitution allows the deputy president to step in.
Yeah.
Right? True. As the president. And there's no vacuum. If the governor was to, maybe something happened, is no longer in the equation, right, the deputy governor will step in.
True.
So the question we ask ourselves, who was in the top hierarchy upon the demise of Raila Odinga? Is the national chair of the ODM. And who is that? None other than Gladis Wanga. So there are structures. There is no vacuum.
Okay.
Yes.
But currently, Senator Dr. Oburu Odinga was installed as the interim, actually during the time that we were preparing for Baba's burial. And then was it yesterday or the day before, where we have the Secretary General who came out and said now Senator Dr. Oburu Odinga is the acting party leader. Perhaps, I don't know, maybe ndio sielewi, what's the difference between interim and acting in this capacity?
I think acting and interim, they almost mean the same thing, because the fact is it's not officially it's not officially placed now or elected or nominated now by the members as the party leader. But in the meantime, as they still put things in order and reorganizing,
right.
then he will hold that position that his brother, the late Right Honorable Raila Odinga, held. You see, but remember that is just a different constituent in terms of leadership of the ODM. The leadership structure still remains in hierarchy there. The national chair, the deputies, the secretary general, yes, as we have. So there is no vacuum in terms of operations of the party. There is no vacuum. Yes.
So as far as that is concerned, then it is what it is. We also see ODM leadership speaking with different messages at different times.
Yes.
For example, Edwin Sifuna sometime last week, in response to what Governor Kahiga had said, he said that if Baba were alive, he would actually call the governor, have tea with him, and forge a way forward beyond their differences. But on the other side, we had leadership led by Governor Wanga saying that, look, the line has been drawn. There's, these people or this individual, tumemwekea X, and you could see it's like either they hadn't talked about this before they gave their different statements, or they agreed to disagree, or they disagreed and said, you know what, you say what you have to say, I'll say what I have to say.
You see, perhaps we may give it to ODM, probably as the most democratic party so far, we may say, in terms of the organs and the party constituents. Look at UDA, for instance. Malala just tried one day opposing the president, and the next day was out as the Secretary General. Edwin Sifuna has consistently even give variant statement from what Raila is saying and the party organ is saying, but he's still the Secretary General. So that ODM tells you that it is a space that allows everyone to express their opinions the way they want. You see, people are not limited to what exactly, or how exactly they should express themselves. So I think that is a proper advancement. That is a proper way in which now we can start seeing democracy being realized in specific political parties or the political formations that we have. So I feel that ODM has allowed its members to express their opinions freely without gagging them, but using what we use, the persuasive means, to persuade them to believe or to persuade them to take the party position as the most practical and the most priority in terms of how they're going to spread their manifesto to people, or how they want to implement their plans. Yeah.
You know, I might not necessarily agree with how UDA does do their things, but when you sit with people from that party, they will actually make you see sense in what they say. And I'll give you an example. You've started with the issue of Malala. He was ejected from the party because of whatever wrangles they had and disagreements they had. Then we have former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua also impeached because of the disagreements he had with his boss. And
we do not know that is why he was impeached.
It is implied. Okay, so let me just finish this one. I can
City has another version you want to hear.
City is he's a person who likes using evidence, not hearsay. He said, she said. Is this what happened?
Exactly.
And I get it, but look, at the end of the day,
politics is about perception.
What is being said on the ground is different.
That is it.
So me, I'm going with the ground.
But the ground are his 10 best friends whom he drinks with intermittently.
Yes.
Hiyo ndio ground. Okay, tuambie ground wamesema nini bro?
Sitting nazima your mic. and UDA, when we saw whatever happened with former DP, at the end of the day, when I sit with individuals from that faction, they will say, look, there is no way you will disagree with your boss publicly. You can disagree with your boss chini ya maji, wamwambie bwana Ojijo, this is not the right thing to do. But when we are out in public, whatever your boss says, you're like, yes, 100%, we are there. And that is why perhaps former Deputy President couldn't survive in that space. Don't you think that is actually what, and especially for a leadership, a party in leadership, national leadership like ODM, like UDA, isn't that what they should be doing so that they can unite us? Because if I see Ojijo disagreeing with his deputy, and perhaps his deputy is my friend, I'll be inclined to agree with with his deputy, and perhaps at the end of the day we'll end up splitting this party. I think that's perhaps what parties are supposed to be doing.
Exactly, that's how it should be. You know, Adolf Hitler said that you can't be a soldier, but for you to be the strongest, profound soldier, you must be loyal and disciplined. You see, and that is why some people think, I've heard stories, people thinking, Junet, or some people, even Wanga, there are people who are just surviving on, the late Prime Minister. They're confusing loyalty with weakness. You see, the strongest people I know are very loyal, and that is how it should be. You cannot contradict your boss in public. That is what we call, even in law, insubordination, and that's a ground for dismissal if you are employed. If there's a question of insubordination, it's summary dismissal. We do not even have to take any other route. That's summary dismissal.
Just explain to me, how does a difference of opinion then amount to insubordination? Opinions have differed. You have this view, I have this view.
Publicly.
Yes, I'm referring to it in public. We have differed. You are saying that you cannot differ with somebody who is your leader in public.
That is what I'm saying now. ODM is an extraordinary party. You see, that will not happen in any other party, because we've seen it not surviving in the UDA operations. But see what has happened in ODM, for instance. You
do have a point.
Yes.
Because one of the most famous disagreements that we know, if you're looking at politics, was when Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister of the UK.
Yes.
Two people disagreed with her.
Yes.
A Minister for Defence, a gentleman called Heseltine, and her deputy, his name was Howe, Howe. One disagreed with the Prime Minister over a certain helicopter manufacturing entity. The other one, the deputy, disagreed publicly and made a speech about it regarding her resistance to the European Union. Okay? Both resigned. Okay? So in essence, you're right. And in essence, you are right when you say that ODM is unique in that way. But it begs the question, are political parties inherently democratic institutions?
That is the problem we have in this country. You see, whereas certain parties like ODM are trying to exemplary allow their members, to express their wishes, even in public or in private, and they do not, subject them to any sanctions or any political disciplinary. Certain parties still feel the need to gag the members when it comes to public dissemination of information, so that we can be seen, we can be believed as one team. It will be hard for us, the public, to believe that this is what the party stands for. This is what the party plans for us. If we keep hearing opposing opinions, we are allowed to disagree in the boardrooms, but when we walk outside there, we must present ourselves as one unit.
They call it collective responsibility.
Collective responsibility of politicians, so that we know. Politics is about perception, majorly. You see, what perception are you sending to the constituents, to the party people out there? If we can see clearly there is no cohesion among, how are we going to even believe what you're saying? But if we are fighting inside here, but when we go outside there, we are laughing, we are together, we are shaking hands, you're saying this is the position, we'll believe.
It is assumed that the public buys it all the time.
Exactly.
The public may buy it for some time. You see, the internal wranglings of a political party, and again, you're right, when it bubbles and is out in the public domain is when it is considered harmful, but not necessarily. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm saying this, that when you look at the aspirations of political parties, they are democratic. What they purpose and what they promise they will do for the public, they're democratic. But the internal workings are actually not.
Definitely.
And it doesn't matter which political parties in which part of the world you speak of, they're actually not. You will find, for instance, in some of these mature democracies, they have what you call safe constituencies. Safe constituency is a constituency that is known to be predominantly supportive of a certain political party.
Yes.
Now, here it is demonized. Why? Because our political party leaders tend to come from certain ethnic groups. It doesn't matter what you do. Every political party leader will come from some ethnic group. It doesn't matter what you do. But what follows is now what matters in this sense. It's the constituent members of that party. Do they represent the face of Kenya? And many people say that Kanu did that, but that argument is moot because Kanu did not have any opposition. So what else could you do?
Yes.
It was the only party in the country. So obviously other people from all over the country would be members. But with multipartyism, we have seen parties that actually do represent what you call the face of Kenya. But the question is this: these internal wranglings within parties, wrangles, because that is what also is at the heart of what we are saying. Do these wrangles represent something positive, and does it represent the maturation of that particular political party?
Parties that have built the strongest party in democracy, in strength, like ODM that has survived now for over 20 years, must have those internal wrangles. That is what makes people strong. Couples that do not fight do not know their strength. You see, couples that have fought and know their limits and know how to contain one another are probably the strongest couple. So internal fights are not problem. These are if you've never crossed line with your wife,
the one for couples.
Where you and I come from, that often leads to somebody marrying a second wife, chief.
No, those are weak men. Those are weak men.
Those who are hearing us and who are men will tell you it is a strong man who knows how to balance the equation in his family.
It is through fighting that the wife will realize these are no-go zone for this man.
They will tell you it is through marrying a second wife. The wife will understand that.
See, that's old school. That doesn't survive right now. But you see, even before you go to a second wife, it is through that, fighting that the wife will know this is a no-go zone. I can never exchange this way. I can never go to this level. Before she may not know. She may just throw words around until you affirm that authority. Also, as a man, that is when you know surely this is a bit insensitive when I get here. So internal wrangles are just healthy. They help people to grow. But there's a limit in where they should arrive. The same way to even political parties.
Who sets the limit?
When we're fighting,
who sets the limit?
But not the man. You're
what limit exactly are you talking about?
No, he's talking about people knowing the limits. You see. Our reference point is political parties.
Yes.
Our detailed reference point is ODM. Okay? When do people know their limits? When everybody wants to have power.
good practice, political practice requires that we submit to the majority position. That is why we have, the NEC committee that now, after everything has been discussed, they put it into voting. You see, so that the minority have had, their say, but the majority will have to carry the day. You see, so once we have now subjected it to a voting, you still have your opinion, but that now remains the position of the party. When we go outside there now, that is the position of the party.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you disagree, enter.
That is everything. Even in courts, that is how judges, make decisions. We go to the Supreme Court for presidential election. Two judges are saying, no, I disagree with this, and they read their opinion, but the majority say we agree, and then the ruling is made in the favor of the majority. That is how it should be. Let us disagree, but when people have given their opinion and voted, this is the position, let us stick to the position of the party. That is how we build our internal democracy. Yes. So the best you can do is to persuade us to believe that you're the right person, then we go with you. If you cannot persuade us to that limit, then we will not accept it. Then you'll now definitely have to join us as the position of the party. See, that is how it should be, according to me.
All right. So there's this... sorry.
Is that how ODM works?
I think that's how ODM works. But now, there's a problem with the ODM. I think Raila, to some extent, I may blame it a little on him. I felt he gave too much freedom also at some point to members. Being a Democrat, I felt there's too much freedom, more so when it comes to...
Explain what you mean by too much freedom, please.
It is simple and clear, City. What I have just stated here, if we have disagreed internally and we've understood and we've taken a position, we go outside there, then that should remain the position of the party. But if we are going outside there and you still discard the position of the party and advancing your own position to the public, now this is the position, and you want people to believe that is the position, because at some point we could even listen to the Secretary General saying, this is the position I'm saying of the party, you see. But then when we listen to the party now organ separately, it's completely different. So I felt at that point that we needed to have some order to that level, so that therefore, as we express our opinion, they remain our personal opinion. But we say this is the position of the party, but this is my personal opinion and where I disagree.
To be clear,
yes,
what the Secretary General was advancing,
yes,
what we are now calling his own, agenda or stand.
No, we are not saying that. What some people are saying, we need to be clear.
All right. Was it a wrong stand, or was it just the? Because me personally, what some of the things he was saying, and he was actually calling out the government that his party had joined, in terms of extrajudicial killings and other things that he was mentioning in his very many statements. I was like, he's actually saying the truth. He's actually holding even his own party to account, and he was asking the party to hold the same government that they have joined to account. So it's not like we disagree with what he was saying, it's that he did it.
You see, I don't have a problem with what he was saying, but there were 10-point agendas which have been put in place. You see, there was the issue to do with the implementation of the NADCO, inclusivity in budgetary allocations, protecting the devolution, economic investment in youth, leadership integrity, and doing away with the opulence. And the most important one was the protect people's sovereignty and stop abductions, if you can remember. That was the position of why ODM decided to have that arrangement with the UDA. You see, you cannot say that from the beginning I refused, we cannot go into that agreement with the UDA. But already there's an agreement which has gone there, and people are trying to find ways on how we can implement that. That was his first comment when he said, from the beginning, I've said we cannot go together. We cannot have any arrangement with UDA. That's already now contradicting the position of the party, because the parties have agreed we are going to have an agreement, and we have stated our conditions in which we want us to work together. Right. But you've started by saying we cannot even go there. So where don't you not see insubordination? Don't you not see a level of indiscipline in some point?
I do not see insubordination at all.
Why?
Because we are talking about a political party, and we are talking about politicians.
But insubordination.
But that is what you see.
Insubordination is about defying authority. And
again, I am saying I do not see defiance.
So he defied what?
You're actually not going to convince me that he defied. So
I'm not saying.
City, let me put it this way, so that you can get. We are not saying he defied the authority. We are saying is veering off from the position of the party.
Me, I'm actually saying he defied.
Advancing his opinion at the expense of the position of the party. We said we disagreed at the boardroom, right? We agreed at that point. But we say now when we step out, because people have voted in favor of this position, when we step out, this remains the position of the party.
And if you were to defiance?
Of course it is, but now City do not want us to use the word defiance. We are changing.
No. It's not
me, I won't change it.
It is not that I do not want you to use the word.
Yes.
I actually circled it to myself. I do not believe it is defiance.
Okay. What do you think
that is? What I said. I do not believe it is defiance.
Okay, how will you describe
There's
that?
a narrative that is being spun that everything that Sifuna said was in defiance. And I'm repeating.
Not everything.
In this regard, not everything he has said over time. It's this.
Yes.
There's a specific times frame we're speaking about.
Yes.
He's a politician. This is a political party. There is a trend that anybody who studies our politics has seen over time with political leaders who understand political strategy. It's called a dead cutting. You will take a position and members of your party will take certain positions in the public domain. The purpose is data gathering. That's the purpose. A tenuous relationship like the one ODM had with UDA. Do you really think that somebody like the late Honorable Raila Odinga, a man who knew the pulse of the people, understood it? The reason why he lasted as long as he did was he actually understood it. People felt this man understands us, this man speaks for us. You think he would not understand that this particular person he's supporting is not popular? He would.
Let me ask you, Siti. 2 months ago, Edwin Sifuna will oppose the position of the party and do everything. Yesterday was the one reading the report and confirming this is the position of the party. This is how we are going to do. This is it. So where is the problem?
Now, my friend, you are confirming what I have just said.
Yes.
It is not just him. Sifuna would not have been Secretary General of the party if it wasn't for Raila.
Yes,
it's not complicated.
Exactly.
Babu Owino would not have been a member of parliament
if not for Raila.
Yes, he had tried to stand before and he didn't move very much.
We agree.
Okay?
Yes.
Caleb Hamisi.
Yes.
Why do you think that the people who appeared to have a contrary view were all young politicians? One of the hallmarks of Raila looked for young people who could be flag bearers. It's something that he did really, really, really well.
Yes.
And there are very many people who may be in other political parties right now who, if it wasn't for Raila, their political lives would never have seen the light of day.
Exactly.
So again, I go back to the question I asked. Political parties, the politics and the strategies that they employ. One of the things that political parties do, they want to know what people think about things.
Exactly.
And the best way you do it is when you have a position taken so that you can actually watch and see the reaction.
You test a position.
Sifuna is not a mad person.
Yes.
He cannot go directly against what Raila likes. His candidature or his position would end that very same day. You think he doesn't know this? He does. Now, if you see what is happening now, it confirms what I'm telling you. ODM and Raila were testing the waters. They were saying, let's see what people think about this. The thing that Raila did over and over and over again successfully was to confound people, his followers and the people who opposed him alike. He'd take a position that people say, now, what on earth does this person think is doing? Time vindicated him. And again, and again. So, with that as a background, when I heard what Sifuna was saying, when I heard what was being alluded of Babu wants to be governor of Nairobi. And I was thinking, at that time, Raila Odinga was alive. Without Raila's support, Babu will not be governor of Nairobi. It doesn't matter what he does. Exactly. Okay? Now, Baba is not there, but ODM exists.
You know, sometimes this thing can get to their head if it is not controlled. You remember Babu Namwamba? Probably one of the most powerful Secretary General ODM has ever had. The man who swore himself by the name of Raila Amolo Odinga in Parliament for the first time. Very powerful, very charismatic, very smart and eloquent, you see. But at some point, I think it got into his head, and Babu thought he can do it on his own. This is what now, he has numbers, he has following, and that is why I feel that it needs some controls at some point, you see, so that you don't lose it.
Yeah.
When Namwamba went and he thought he can pull a crowd, what happened? Do you think Namwamba right now can even run as an MC in his area and win? It can't. He can't. And this now tells you the position where I was saying before, that it is okay to disagree and even to test the waters. But you see, two things must be done. Number one, what perception are your followers getting when we see, even if you're testing water, but there's this outright disagreement that is continuous and does not have some limits? You see, what do we see? That is why the perception of everybody right now is that there's wrangles in ODM. And what does that do to us? We still feel like now we do not have a stand. We do not have direction. We're directionless. We do not have anyone to guide us. Number two, this is what it also does to some of the leaders. It may get into their head and start thinking, now I am someone. Politics is like, it's addictive. It's like coffee you take in the morning. You stay up here, people tell you, oh, you are the man. Tomorrow they tell you, now you can run, now you can be the governor. I think now you should go for president. And it starts getting into your head slowly. So if you're not disciplined, if you're not also controlled, it may get out of hand. And this is what we fear probably can even will happen with Sifuna. But I'm very glad he noticed that very well and started to retreat, very well slowly within the party guidelines and the party stand. It is okay to disagree.
Ojijo, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you actually think that Edwin Sifuna would knowingly disagree with the position that Baba had?
Babu has done it. There's nothing stopping Sifuna to do it.
My question is very specific.
Yes.
Do you think when Baba was alive that Sifuna would take a position that is completely opposed to Baba's wishes?
That is the fear. That was the fear of majority. Some of us knows definitely cannot go outside there. But what does Adhiambo in the village and Nyango somewhere think? They will not know that. They will think this is the position of this person is saying. You see, we are leading a diverse society with the elite, the people who have not gone to school, the people who just read it as it is. And that is why I'm talking about these limits and knowing when to stop and that is why do you think UDA has been like that? That Malala says this and you are out. You do this and you're out, because they're trying to ensure that discipline is there and that the people perception they're selling outside there, people can see them as
it's maintained.
This is the position of the party.
Is it perhaps because they themselves are not even secure in that union that they have? So
I think it's just a different way of governance.
The slightest defense is reacted with very, very strongly.
Unajua kuna nyumba zingine ukienda, by the way, and I'm using now this analogy.
Yes.
You will find that it's there's a democratic space there. The children can say whatever, the wife can say whatever, and the husband laughs and enjoys it, and life continues. Actually, after that conversation, they talk about something fresh. Lakini kuna nyumba ukienda huko, hata mzee akiongea mbaya, you see everyone is in alignment. So I think
but you will notice even where kila mtu anaongea, they know there's a line.
Exactly.
There's somewhere Baba akisema that's enough, everybody stops.
It's enough.
See, everybody. Do you know why we came up with the issue of the independent candidates in the constitution? Why we allowed people who felt they cannot be contained in political parties can run independently.
Okay.
That was one of the reasons to help in such areas. That where you feel either your freedom is going to be curtailed or your wishes are beyond the wishes of the party, or you want to do things on your way, you're allowed to do it on your own.
I want us to talk about Governor Wanga.
Yes.
Because we've seen headlines somewhere, people talking that there might be an alliance between President Ruto and Governor Wanga come 2027. I don't know if you've heard them and what you think about it.
I am one of them who has championed that.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
City, are looking at you like that?
No. You want to know what's going on through my mind?
Yes.
You see, what I'm thinking is this, that the fact that there's movement within a political party doesn't necessarily have to have negative connotations.
It's not completely negative.
Yes. They are all, even when Raila was alive, there were movements.
Exactly.
Even when he was. The thing that people did not see in the public domain is how Raila gained consensus. This is what they don't see. You could have a situation when someone has passed away, all right? And Raila needs to build consensus for a particular individual who is standing there. He would go in person.
Yes.
And he would talk to people and tell them, guys, this is what we have here. There's consensus building that was not in the public domain, but there was consensus. Raila always did consensus building. One may not have seen it, but that's what happened.
Yes.
The sort of leadership that he has had, you don't have it by sitting back and making phone calls.
Yes.
No, you meet and you talk with people. Now, the situation that we're now about to discuss represents those movements, and it is not negative. Where there are politicians, you would not be a very able politician if you were not seeking power, to be honest, or if you're not seeking to retain what you already have.
To be relevant, yes.
Yes. Then you might as well just stop being a politician and look for another job altogether. Okay? So I am simply saying, you asked what was going in my mind. I was thinking the movements within ODM are going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But the thing that I have seen is that there'll be movements, but the party will not disintegrate as most people think.
It will not. It will not. I've said that before.
This is what was going on through my mind. Because the discussion has been it will disintegrate. And I'm not seeing it disintegrating.
And I gave a practical scenario. I agree with you. And in fact, we can even look at the life of Raila. I mean, who will have that grace that every time you lose an election, which you know you lost unfairly, it does not even take 1 year down the line, you've already on a handshake, you've allowed these people to rule, you are supporting them, you're okay. It takes a lot of grace to do that, and that we could only see in Raila Odinga. Most of these leaders will not have that happen. You see, I don't think if we leave and William Ruto will do that. That he felt unfairly, he lost unfairly, and then after 2 months you want him to come and support your government. Probably you'll find it hard. But there's certain people who are created with certain qualities that we really admire and we wish we could even have them, like Raila Odinga. So I agree. Another thing it is that I agree with, I had said this before, there will be a lot, probably can be some migrations from ODM or some disagreement or split, whatever. The party will remain intact, and I kept saying that the effect of that movement may not be felt in the next general election, perhaps after the next general election. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because, for instance, let's assume now Babu or Sifuna decided to leave ODM. You see, right now they do not want to work with ODM. This is just an example. I'm not saying they do. They do not want to work with ODM, and they want to move maybe with a different party or a different coalition to the next to form the next government. They leave ODM. Who are they going to join? Because right now we can see the formations. We know you are either in this camp or you are either in this what we are having like ODM UDA, or you're in the DCP Rigathi and the colleagues. How much confidence do they have to work with Rigathi Gachagua? How do you think they have faith to work in that camp? How much significant do you think they will be if they were to join Rigathi's camp or to remain in the Ruto ODM camp? Even them, they know. You see, and that's why I'm telling you, even if they were to move right now, it will be hard for them even to pull their constituents to join the formation they are going with. Because even for me, if I love Sifuna right now, and Sifuna moves and joins Rigathi Gachagua, I'm not going to vote for Rigathi Gachagua because Sifuna has gone. Because we have made a decision as people, going by the history and the patterns of these people. And at this point, the duration we have, it will take so much to change the mind of the people on how they are going to vote in the next general election. That's why I was saying that movement may not be so significant to affect the outcome or to affect how parties are going to perform in the next general election. But it may be somehow have impact later after the next general election.
Let's talk about the Ruto-Wanga coalition.
Very interesting. Yes.
What's up with that?
I think probably that is one of the game-changing plan that may happen to this country.
How so?
This is going to be very interesting because, number one, you know, I keep records. On 7th March 2024, while launching the female governors caucus in Nairobi here, Ruto spoke for 1 hour. And one of the key elements he highlighted there, he said he has aligned his policy going forward. That him as the president and as the leader of UDA, anytime he will be running or anybody will be running, they will ensure that the running mate is a person of the opposite gender.
Okay.
He said that. When Raila was introducing Martha Karua in 2022 to the podium, this is the statement he said, and this I am recording. He said that time has come that our women are also considered to have a voice at the presidency. The presidency means the president and the deputy president. Now, this arrangement that started as a working relationship in the 10-point agenda of ODM to support UDA operations. But if you look at keenly politically, it's a warm-up process to a unity of purpose, which is to win the next general election. But now this is the point. That therefore it means there must be a proper negotiation, you see, on the strength of the parties, on who holds what position and who is given what position. So the presidency must be shared. That is the truth. The presidency must be shared between ODM and UDA. You see. But we know UDA definitely will prompt William Ruto as its presidential candidate. So then it means that the deputy president must now be prompted from ODM.
Okay.
But I told you even before Baba died, Baba left us a hierarchy of structures.
But wait, UDA has several other partners other than ODM.
Now I'm telling you, right now we look at them as the Kenya Kwanza. Let's say Kenya Kwanza.
Okay.
Kenya Kwanza will have that. So they've found a new partner now, you see, which is ODM. Before Baba passed, he left us as structures of the party in terms of the senior most going upward. And the senior most, we all agree, it is the chair of the national party of the ODM, which is, as we speak, Gladis Wanga. That is number one. Number two, you will want to look at somebody who is going to bring value. If you are going to have a deputy president, do you know why Ruto picked Rigathi Gachagua?
Tell me why.
Ruto picked Rigathi Gachagua, probably was not the most learned. Professor is probably the most learned, you know. But Rigathi Gachagua was still picked. Why? Because you want to bring someone who adds value. And political value is seen in terms of mobilizing. It is seen in terms of persuasion. You know, numbers don't lie. You look at skills that is going to bring that numbers on the table.
Okay.
The late Phoebe CEO, before she passed on, had to say this about Gladis Wanga for a number of times. Said that in her, she sees a woman who would have achieved 10 times things she did not achieve. She sees a mobilizer. She sees an astound loyalist, see, and she's a woman who moves like a warrior. See,
this is what the late Phoebe
that is what the late Phoebe used to say.
Okay.
We have studied through on the history. Now I want us to let us just look at ODM and the members of ODM who are there, the leaders in ODM. Because we're now going to vet them on and tell me now who is the best candidate. Number one, Ruto knows the hustler youth narrative may not work for him this time around. It's messed up. It's not going. In fact, it cannot even pull that idea again. There is a level which he can still ride on. And this is the level, this is the question he can ride on the question of the women opportunity, the women empowerment. This is an area that he has never tested. And the only way now is that to start bringing women to the top leadership. You see, as a running mate, it's trying to appeal to the women that now we want you to be at the decision making at the presidency level. That is one area that can work for him. And that is now why I've narrowed down, among other factors, I've narrowed down now to running mate being a female from the ODM. Then we start looking at Wanga right now. I mean, against all odds, a young Gladis Wanga, barely 44 years old, very young lady. Raila had seen so much quality in her to trust her to be the chair of the party, national chair of ODM party. We have seen how she has moved all the way. Do you know Wanga started being in leadership at primary school level? And when she moved to Kisumu Girls, she was the head girl. She went to KU University. She was the first female secretary general of KUSA. KU. It cannot be by luck that these things are happening. When she moved to try her luck in politics, a young lady with no resources, with nothing, she won against strong women at the county to become, the first woman representative for 2 terms. She moves from there, declare her ambitions. People think this person is joking. You are only 2 terms. You've just served here for 2 terms. You want to become governor here. We have people who have served here for over 5 terms. They're the CS for treasury, and other people are there. But she moves and they sit down and they discuss and they look among themselves. Who is probably the best
candidate for this?
And
let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Yeah, because this is something I don't understand. What role do the deputy party leaders play in ODM? What's the hierarchy? That's the question I'm asking, because we have 3 deputy party leaders.
Yes.
And the party leader was probably the highest ranking official within ODM. And then you have a chairman, and then you have other officials, you have the NEC.
Yes.
What role do the deputy party leaders play?
Deputy party leaders, they are deputy party leaders. They support the leader. They support the chair, and that is why Raila was very specific.
They support the chair.
You see, yes. You see why Raila did this deliberately. If you notice, there's a chair of ODM, the national chair. The national chair. Then we have the county's chair in between, and then we have the deputy party leaders from different, and you see they're selected from different regions. We have one from Western, from Coast, from Kisii. You see how they've been spread. The idea was that this becomes the eyes or the supporting eyes at different regions of the party. You see, but in terms of hierarchy, if you look at that structure in terms of the hierarchy, the national chair sits
Up the top.
above. In fact, the party leader is at the top, and then the person who comes next after that is the national chair. Yes.
So then let me ask the other question I want to ask. If there is a leader, there is a Ruto-Wanga coalition of sorts,
Yes.
or understanding, what's the guarantee that the voter base of ODM will follow this?
I'm coming to that. I'm coming. City.
Actually, because we have about 7 minutes.
Yes.
Let's get to that.
Let's get to that. Now, I was just giving you the history of this woman so that people do not think that she was handpicked. I've heard people think that she had favors from Raila. This had been a fighter her whole life. She deserves. It cannot be by luck, coincidentally, all through this time.
Ojijo, in politics, if you do not have somebody fighting by your side, you will not go far. It's a simple reality, but go on.
I agree, but you see, you must also bring value.
Yes.
We wanted to see what value she brought herself. Now, so this is what is going to happen. Ruto, in my opinion, desperately needs Wanga more than she does. Why am I saying this? Ruto already is tainted as we speak. Probably is going to be one of the hardest candidates even to support. You see, she is completely tainted right now with, so many people, with promises not kept. And he needs someone who will be appealing now to the young, to women, and to the rich constituent that he has probably not entered into. You see, I told you how Phoebe CEO was seeing Wanga. I will also tell you how we've seen her, because she's a governor at Homa Bay. We've seen her leadership. We see what she has done in Homa Bay. City, you come from Nyanda. I think probably you've trickled down at Homa Bay. Have you seen Homa Bay right now? How Homa Bay is?
I haven't been to Homa Bay in a long time.
We're almost beating Kisumu. Homa Bay right now is... I want to just take a ride down.
Don't worry.
Homa Bay and see it.
I will go to
barely 3 years in office. See what Homa Bay has transformed to.
How are
now,
tell us. Let me not ask a question. Tell us.
Yes. So that in itself has already shown you the capacity of a leader we are talking about from its constituent. So that if you ask anybody, probably from the Nyanza region, coming from that area, they will tell you who the performing governor already is on the ground. Now, why am I saying that Ruto now desperately needs somebody to serve who will help him navigate through this? Because he's already tainted. Wanga is still a young leader. You see how she resonates so well, even with the youth. In fact, if you look at the CEC, the official at the county level, almost 70% are young people. Wanga knows how to maneuver and work so well.
Ojijo, allow me to interrupt you.
Yes.
Within Homa Bay, what you're saying may be true. the support base goes beyond.
We are coming to that. I'm coming now to.
You have the minister taking.
Yeah,
good. I want to understand how this voter base, because it involves putting together other leaders in other regions where ODM has a strong voice.
Exactly.
Please,
that is why now we're saying that we are going to move as a party. A party has identified who is their best choice in Gladis Wanga in terms of track record, in terms of how it can galvanize and mobilize as that. So this is now going to be a weight on Gladis Wanga to also now use the soldiers in ODM. ODM is a party spread across the country.
Yeah.
You see, use the power and organs in the ODM now to see how we are going to mobilize. You see, ODM has not lost any of its constituents, but UDA has lost its constituent. This is the Mount Kenya. You see, so it means ODM is still intact as it was. What we need to do is to reassure the members of ODM within its structures that we are still intact. And Ruto needs that because it's already lost a big chunk of its constituent. This is the Mount Kenya. So it desperately needs the ODM here. And that is now the role that Gladys is going to do. That with the constituents and the organs he has in the party, we are now going to spread our wings beyond this, the Nyanza, the Western, the coast, and the North Rift to other new areas, and probably some part of the mountain to see how we can bring them together. That is the influence she's going to make. And we are seeing that in the leadership as the national chair, how she's using the organs already to strengthen the party. So she's the best candidate, best chance, best way that Ruto can have, and is likely even to appeal so much to women. Women, is always this what we call the swing vote majorly. She's likely to appeal to that swing vote in favor of Ruto as compared to other camps. So this is the chance, and I think this is probably going to dictate even the future politics, because then after 2027, 2032, we may probably be thinking or seeing the first female president in the Republic of Kenya.
Because again, I'll go back to the point I made about UDA having other partners within Kenya Kwanza.
Yes.
And those partners have been there longer in terms of a collaboration, longer than ODM.
Yes.
Why should ODM get that position of deputy president, running mate, as opposed to any other that has been there?
That one I can answer for you.
Yeah, please. Very simple.
None of those parties are as strong and have a big.
They add no value
to the same as ODM. You're talking about members of parliament, members in the Senate.
Yeah.
The ODM has a much larger constituency than all those parties.
They add no values. They'll just remain where they are.
No, they do add value.
But now, they're not bringing new value. You see, UDA, Kenya Kwanza has lost a bigger chunk, which is the mountain, which probably propelled them. They need to replace that. The existing one does not replace. You need to bring a new one which is replacing. And when they're coming with more numbers than what you have, they probably must be given a higher stake than what you have. So it is... I can tell you with authority, we are not going to have a deputy president in any other party other than ODM.
But let me, we are going to invite you again.
And it's going to be Gladis Wanga, let me tell you with authority.
Yes. You would like Gladys to have that position.
I will not like.
We would like to hear what the NEC of ODM have to say. ODM is an interesting and sophisticated party, because essentially, what you're saying is that she will be the flag bearer for ODM.
Definitely.
That position is going to be contested. I would like to understand, with time, not today, how that contest will be, and how, and you're the one who will answer that question, and how Gladys will emerge the winner, who will now represent ODM when she wins that contest.
I will be very happy to answer that. But even right now, I want you just to take a bigger picture at ODM as it is and its members, and ask yourself, somebody was to take Ninani. Surely,
in whose hands
are we safe? You'll just see, all eyes will just lead to one woman.
Kepher, we have come to the end of the show.
Thank you.
But thank you so much for availing time. Like I've said, nikikupigia simu usikose kushika. Lakini nitakupigia ingine uje tuongee about succession politics as far as ODM is concerned. And I like the confidence you have in saying that indeed hakuna mwingine. But even 2 days in politics is a very long time.
I agree.
Sawa.